35192 if you want to send a text. AlanCoxShow.com to watch live. Thanks again to Octopacto for helping out today. Guardians off tonight. They will be in Chicago tomorrow night, first of 3 against the White Sox. That'll be an 8:10 first pitch right here on WMMS. You want to tune in for your pregame, and that starts around 7:40. If you're a hockey fan, it is unbelievable how long the Canadian drought has been. It's been 30 years since a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. The Edmonton Oilers have been knocked out again. Maple Leafs already out. Edmonton Oilers were playing Vegas, and they lost 5-2 in Game 6. It is a national travesty for our bureau chiefs up there in America's hat that it's another year that a Canadian team won't be winning the Stanley Cup. Toronto Maple Leafs are my C team. I've got the Chicago Blackhawks, Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Maple Leafs. The last Canadian team in the NHL to win the Stanley Cup were the Canadiens back in 1993. Montreal won in 93. American-based NHL teams have won the Stanley Cup for 30 straight years. So if you are a Canadian, it's like, I mean, what's more Canadian than hockey?
Syrup.
All right, free healthcare. What is more Canadian than hockey,
Poutine.
Free healthcare, poutine,
Clamato.
syrup, Clamato, what?
Apologizing.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, there's less and less of that happening, by the way. Jim
Naked
Carrey, there you
ladies.
go. But
Soft rock.
Oh, Rip Gordon Lightfoot. Yeah, so now that the Oilers, they were the great white hype up there. They were hoping that they'd be able to get a little bit further, but not the case. Not the case. Been a long, long time. So if you didn't think that Florida, like I said before, to see Florida so dominant across the sports spectrum, Florida, they've been in the last 4 straight Eastern Conference Finals. Now, I don't know what kind of crowd they draw down there, but I would imagine it's probably not as big of a deal to Floridians if their NHL team is doing well as it is to Canadians. So, yeah. Now, somebody pointed out they have had the same NHL commissioner for 30 years, which I don't know if that's unprecedented, but I had no idea that that was still the case. Gary Bettman is the guy's name. I'm a hockey fan. I had no idea that guy was still the NHL commissioner. Last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup, Nolan Ryan was on an active MLB roster with the Texas Rangers. Nolan Ryan is 76 years old. I mean, even if he was still long in the tooth to be playing baseball. But my goodness. Of course, you'll all recall Nolan Ryan from the first episode of Magnum P.I.
Obviously.
I made that up. Just to see if the people listening were paying attention out there. You can leave us messages, too, if you listen from Canada or elsewhere. We have bureau chiefs up there. Anywhere you listen, you can leave us messages on the app.
Hey, Alan, hate the show. I'm calling in because Poundcake said something that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, that he doesn't talk about you behind your back or behind the show. I'm not sure who out there is dumb enough to believe Poundcake is not talking about every single one of us, including me, behind our backs all the time as soon as he gets off the air.
That guy thinks you're talking about him, too.
I don't know who he is, but I'm going to talk about
that
him
might
now.
be his point, yeah. Well, we should find out who he is, and then you can talk about him behind his back.
I talk about people who piss me off all the time behind their back, and I don't feel bad about it. You don't really piss me off. Nobody really on the show pisses me off, so I have no reason to.
So somebody has to make you mad for you to talk. Why wouldn't you tell it to their face?
I probably do.
There's nothing I would say behind somebody's back I wouldn't tell them to their face.
That's not to say I wouldn't say it to your face.
Yeah.
But I still would be like, man, let me tell you what happened
I don't
today.
believe that, Alan.
What's that?
You don't get, like, when you're talking to Gwen, someone who you're just venting to your wife, where you might be a little more, you might use a little more colorful language than you would use to somebody's face.
I would still say whatever I had to say to their face.
You're saying the core, like, the point you're trying to get across would be the same. You would just choose different verbiage.
It might not be verbatim.
Okay.
Yeah, I would get, yeah, sure.
Because I've done that. Like I'm not someone who I don't love confrontation, but if I feel a certain way about something,
Why not?
I'll tell someone. But like if I were to go home and be like to Brian, I'd be like, "Oh, Bill, this idiot, guess what he said to me today? Blah blah blah. I can't believe he said that." And then I'd be like, I would text you and be like, "Hey man, I didn't really like what you said to me today." You know what I mean? Like, were you sure
yeah,
I'd say it
that's
to his
what we-
face, but it would
But
be
you're
different.
still, but that's, I
That's
count that as still broaching the subject.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people are like, I don't like confrontation. Okay, I get it. Nobody likes getting in somebody's face, verbally or otherwise, but it's like, hey, you know, it's not coming to blows, but I mean, not telling somebody something that needs to be said.
I think that's different than just someone talking. I think confrontation and actually like expressing yourself is different than just talking behind someone's back.
I mean,
Talking back.
venting.
Yeah.
like talking behind someone's back, even beyond venting. I mean, like that's where you're trying to like hatred
Sneaky,
behind their back.
yeah.
Yeah, like you're trying to you're saying this stuff because you want it to somehow get around that this person is not a
Whatever.
good person.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
or
you
like
want
yeah.
that? You're saying people want it to get around.
In a way, yeah.
Huh.
That's what I think.
Well,
like-
that's just
like-
gossip, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I think when I think of talking behind someone's back, I think of gossip.
Yeah,
It doesn't
okay.
necessarily have to be gossip. It can be rooted in truth. It can be something that you do that makes someone else mad.
Can it, Mary?
Yes.
He's going to keep trying.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
No, but I always think of talking behind the back being more closely related
Calculated.
to, or more closely related to gossip versus venting or just
Because
kind of like
everybody
blowing
vents.
off steam.
Everybody vents. You have
Do
a
they?
partner.
Yeah, venting is very different than talking behind someone's back.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and I know this from experience, just because I've lived with people who used to talk about each other behind their back. Chances are, if you're
Gay
talking
men.
about no straight men,
Oh.
straight men being the best friend of many girls. Chances are, if
What are mini girls?
many girls, many girls,
Yay!
they vent to me.
Yeah.
Chances are, if they're talking real,
Some wreck?
talking real reckless to you about one of their supposed to be close friends, chances are they're probably talking to one of their close friends about you.
Yeah.
That's why you got to play it close to the vest, boy.
Mhm.
You just got to resist the urge. Nothing good comes out of it. You got to play it
But again-
close to the vest.
There's a difference between venting and then just saying like, and then, so
But not to the recipient. The person you're talking about, they're not making a distinction between, well, that's okay. That's just gossip. They're not making that distinction.
Well, and the beauty of this show too is the fact that if there's anything that I want my girlfriend to hear, I'm like, you have to. Like Mary said this today, I'd be like,
Listen to this
let's
idiot."
go to the tape. And I
Right.
just go, hey, I want to show you this, and I don't even say anything. I just be like, what do you think of this? And she'll go, oh, I don't know about.
Wait,
that.
you'll mention something and then show her?
Well,
Like,
because usually it's when I'm like cutting up a clip, like the one a few weeks ago where Mary was
Don't.
trying.
Don't even. it doesn't-
was trying to what?
She was trying to say something about how women should be able to do whatever they want and not be judged for it. But some of the language she used was a little.
Yeah, she was saying something along the lines of like women who just want to have kids don't have any goals. In
No,
life or something
that's
like
not.
that.
I was saying the opposite
That's
of that.
exactly-
I was saying
But-
the
but-
180-degree opposite, where it's like
Yeah,
if
well.
you just want to be a mom, good for you.
Maybe it was your tone.
all these dumb broads.
And then it came out as if you don't have any aspirations.
Then
and
all
single
you do
moms,
is have babies.
Single moms don't work hard.
Ah.
That's not what I meant.
Well.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like I know exactly.
It's so stupid.
Show it to your girlfriend. She'll go, oh, I don't know about that. I think differently of Mary now.
I love gossip. I want
It's
you
not
to
for
tell
me.
I
me.
love gossip.
I'll tell people, I go, I don't want to hear.
I like
wanna hear all
gossip
of it.
where there's I know the people involved, but I am not.
That's Brian's favorite gossip too.
Yeah, like that 1 degree of separation, maybe 2 degree of separation gossip.
Well, I never say that.
But what is that? But go ahead.
I was just saying, I never say that I'm in like that. I've heard the gossip because then you are involved. I don't like people knowing.
You play dumb.
Yeah, I don't like people knowing what I know.
Right.
Because then that puts a target on my. Because then
A target on my
because
back.
I'm in
At
the
least he's
gossip
not
now.
dramatic about it.
Like anything on this show, I'm too close to. So anything involving you, I don't want to hear gossip about Mary or Alan or
That's
anything
right,
like that
yeah.
because I'm too close to it. But if it's Bloom Daddy,
you want to know the tea.
yeah, let's get
Well,
it.
I told Brian, I was like, my family is so chaotic and so different from
Yeah.
his. And there's so much drama in my family all the time. Whenever I start telling a story about, you will never guess what Tony did. And I go on it and he's like, listen. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you love drama. And he's like, I love it when it doesn't. He's
Because
like,
it
it's
doesn't
your
affect- yeah,
brother.
yeah.
So it like affects your mood
Well,
kind of. But
You also have some stories that are like the one about your brother's neighbor.
yeah.
That is one of the that's a
almost sounds
story.
made up.
Trying to
I-
take the
Yeah.
kid or whatever.
Yeah, I told
and-
that
yeah.
story where my brother's old neighbor was blackmailing a married man she was sleeping with and trying to
Right.
extort him out of money by saying that my niece was her kid.
Like that sounds like an
Right.
episode of Black Mirror.
I know, like she
Like-
was stealing pictures off of my brother's Facebook to claim my niece as her own.
Like Keith Morrison is doing the voiceover for
right.
it.
Yeah.
Claim it as her own.
But
yeah,
yeah.
that is a wild story.
But that's the secondary drama that I think Bill's referring to, where it's like
Yeah,
that
where
doesn't
you-
really affect his life at
No.
all, but I want to hear all about it.
And it doesn't affect your life really. It's just, I mean,
It's my
Yeah,
niece.
it's your
but
niece,
yeah.
but she's safe and it's okay. So
Yeah.
like, it's just like it's
It's a
really
good
more
story.
Yeah, it's really more about that crazy lady trying to do what she
Yeah.
was doing. So
That to me is not gossip. That's a story.
It's drama.
Well, it's got a beginning, middle, and an end. I mean, it's a story. If somebody goes, I heard she got knocked up by
She's sleeping around.
Yeah, that's a whole
I heard
other
she
thing.
doesn't,
I'm like,
she
I
doesn't
don't
pay for
care.
her organic bananas.
Because my first thought is always, well, what's your problem with her?
Yeah.
Because if she was your friend, you'd be keeping that to yourself. You're telling people so that means that you're biased against that person. So, I don't know. If you got to think that deeply about things that have nothing to do with your life, it's, I don't know. It's weird. But that guy who left that message believes the Poundcake talks shrimp about everyone behind their back, including that guy who we don't know. Including that guy.
There's some people that deserve to be talked behind their back, but I don't.
yeah, servants.
So if somebody was served you up and they were like, Cody told me all that, and they came to you screaming and yelling, you do what? You deny it, or you go, yeah, I said it because that's what I heard.
Wait,
Just
I'm
pass-
I'm confused about the scenario. What did you say?
Okay, some gossip you passed on
Okay.
comes back to you because somebody served you up and said, Cody told me.
Cody told me this. And then I come to you. You're talking smack about me. Bill says, hey, by the way, Cody thinks you're kind of a whore. And I come to you and I say,
A foot whore.
A foot whore, albeit.
Mhm.
And I come to you and I say, hey, Cody, I hear you're running your mouth. What's up with that?
I'm like, yeah, I said it, bitch. I own it. And that's why you ain't get your shoes, because you ain't on your grizzy. That's your fault, bitch. Stop worried about what people saying about you and step up your game. Put those puppies on OnlyFans.
Yeah, Mary, get on your grizzy.
Yeah. How
All
do
right?
I not think about my grizzy?
God. Alan Mary's family is like the Gallaghers from Shameless.
I've never seen
People who
Shameless.
watch Shameless.
Oh, they so are.
Well, it's a complicated family, right? It's
I called my sister yesterday. Well, I called my mom, and my sister answered the phone. I called to say Happy Mother's Day. I was like, "Where are you guys?"
Oh yeah, what did you do for your mom? You talked about like you and the half daughter, but like
Well, I called her, and I was like, "Hey, I just got home from the road at like 4. She didn't answer, so I called back at like 8. My younger sister answered the phone. They live together. Not a surprise there. And I was like, "Hey, just calling to say Happy Mother's Day to Mom. You know, can I talk to her?" She goes, "She's driving." I was like, "Oh, where are you guys coming from?" She goes, "Kentucky." And I was like, "What?" And they had like, I guess on Thursday, decided they were going to Kentucky for the weekend in very Santora family trip fashion, packed up the car with no plans and
Wow.
just took off to go see my brother and his kids. So I guess that's what my mom wanted to do for Mother's Day. She wanted to go visit my brother in Kentucky. So that's
I mean,
what they
I
did.
guess that was their plan.
Yeah.
The plan was the destination.
I mean, no foresight. No hotels booked. No.
wouldn't they
none
just
of
stay with
that.
him?
No, they have a 2-bedroom, like
Oh,
1,200 square foot house.
I see.
Like they have a very small house.
yeah.
But
But it all worked out?
I called at like 8:30. I was like, where are you? She goes, we're driving past Columbus. I was like, what the hell are you doing down there? And then she's like, yeah, we're on our way home from Kentucky. So my mom just
How
got
deep into Kentucky is he?
He's outside of Louisville. So it's like 6 hours.
That's a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my mom's also old. So they have to stop like every 40 minutes to pee.
She's not that old.
She's
like
65.
60. Yeah, that's 65. Is that old?
I mean,
It's like when people retire, but
I think you're not
it's
in
not decrepit.
road trip shape.
Really? At 65?
Alan, just because you're getting close to 65.
No, I'm just saying I know people in that age group and they're running around doing stuff.
Yeah, she also had 5 kids. I feel like your bladder doesn't hold up the way that it used to.
Okay, well, the bladder's one thing, but I mean, you
That's
made
what I mean. You
made
got to
it sound
stop
like
a
she-
lot.
Well, okay.
You got to pee every hour because you got on 5 kids.
Because you got blown out.
Yeah.
Huh, all right.
But
Well,
yeah,
now that we've covered Mary's, there's some gossip for you. Mary's mom's urination patterns.
call
Okay.
my mom Cody and be like, Carol, I heard
You got to get on your grizzy.
I heard your bladder ain't what it used to be.
Hey, you got blown out from all them kids.
They call you drippy.
Oh. Well, all right. So they're back or they're not back?
Yeah, they got back last night.
Oh, boy. What a time.
Good for them.
And there were no fights or anything?
Not that I know of.
See, this is what I've come to know. When
I'm
Mary's
not
not
there.
around, there's no fights.
Because
there
everyone
was-
else lets it go except for me. Everyone, like my sisters.
Was
will,
your other brother down
No.
there too?
Me and
But
the-
'cause
That's the combo.
They left out the people that fight.
Make fights.
Yeah.
Me and my brother Kyle, who is 28-hour workday, we are the two combative ones.
I see.
And because we
Either with each other or with everybody else.
right.
So when you're both there, it's a powder keg.
yes.
I
So when
see.
one or both of us is not there, it's less combative because they will oftentimes. My mom's calling me right now.
And so
She's probably like,
pick
what
it
are
up.
you thinking about my bladder for? So if me and Kyle aren't there, then it's gonna be we're the two who call each other out, right? So
Yeah.
like if I hear something I don't like or one of my brothers says something backwards or MAGA or whatever, I'll say something. Same with my brother Kyle. If I say
Right.
something that he feels is a little too liberal, he'll jump in and say something. You
Gotcha.
know? The other 3 kind of are peacemakers.
But so if there's a big family get together, people come to the both of you and go, "Hey guys, let's retreat to our respective corners and just have fun." Okay.
They'll be like, can you two not? Like, you don't have to argue over
Ah.
how many M&Ms are in the bowl.
Oh, you'll argue over anything.
Yeah.
I see.
He and I, we get on each other's nerves pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, he wants the red M&Ms. You want the blue ones.
Right.
Chuck says, "Smack Mary for me. I'm 65 and in excellent health."
I'm not saying you're not in good health anymore. I'm saying your bladder probably isn't as great as it used to be.
I bet Chuck hasn't blown out 5 kids. I bet he probably
You
was
don't
able
know
to.
Chuck.
I don't know Chuck at all. I don't know the state of his prostate, the prostate of the union. I don't know anything that's going on with him there.
Man, and I have to take my car into the shop tomorrow. Where, Bill?
Terry's North Coast Auto.
Yes. And I'm going to have to ask my mom for a ride. She's probably mad at me now. I called and I was like,
I'm not giving you a ride.
I know, right?
You can walk.
I was going to call her after.
Yeah, well, you played yourself, playa.
Great.
Just throw me under the bus. I led you into it, right?
I didn't bring up your bladder, Mom. Alan did.
Alan did. Alan can't stop talking about your bladder.
Bill, roll the tape.
Mr. Urethra over there can't get enough. I gotta take a break here.
Maybe the storage units are overcompensating for the bladder.
For her weak pelvic wall.
For the urine that you can't store.
Oh. Or double check what's in them jars.
Sorry, Carol.
All right, you ain't the last word in. Send me a text 351.